Are you looking for more out of your life? Do you need ideas on how to start new businesses and how to move forward in your own personal life? Well, guess what? You have come to the right radio show. At You Can Overcome Anything podcast show, you will learn and hear from many people from all walks of life who are sharing their challenges, their stories, the habits, and the mind shifts they had to overcome to become who they are today. On top, you will get a chance to connect and see how you can overcome anything by networking and learning about your next move through this radio show. I present to you our great speakers at You Can Overcome Anything podcast show with your host, CesarRespino. Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of You Can Overcome Anything podcast show. It is your host, CesarRespino, and today I have a guest. He's the founder and CEO of Big Block Athletics, founder of Mark Blocker Foundation, founder and CEO of Mark Blocker, success coach, enterprises, and angel investor. I want to introduce you to Mark Blocker. Hey, Mark, how are you, man?
I'm good. How about yourself? How's everybody doing out there in cyberspace?
Good, man. I'm doing awesome, dude. So talk to me. Let me know a little bit about your background. Where are you originally from, and what was your upbringing like?
So I'm actually originally from Detroit, Michigan. So I said it other than that. So originally, like I said, I was actually born in Detroit, Michigan. Born December 21st, 1989. I have my father, his name is Michael Blocker. My mother's name is Shirley Blocker. They actually did get married. So growing up in Detroit, growing up in inner city, it was okay for the most part. Like some people like to call it humble beginnings, whatnot. So everything like that. So, but I think it was around the time I was either in when I was between 8 or 9 years old, I lost my father due to a man who murdered him and stole his identity. I have to say, it stole his identity afterwards, and because I guess he really wanted a son so bad that he stole his identity after killing him. So, but in the meantime, I had my grandfather, who's also named as William Blocker. He was a farmer, so that man. I was, as a little boy, I was scared of that. I was scared of that man, but he loved me to death. He loved me to death. But I was scared of that man because that man.
Yeah.
He didn't speak a lot. He was a hardworking man. He didn't speak a lot, but man, if he ever got your hands, well, for me personally, if you got my hands on me, I might have ended up in the hospital. Like one time, I was playing in the yard and everything like that. I saw this dog that I really wanted to play with and everything, and I wanted to play with it so bad. Little 6 or 7-year-old boy. So I wanted to play with it and everything like that. So, and all he just told me is don't play with the dog, and just walked off. So in my mind, since I was a little bad kid at the time, I was trying to find a loophole for the word play. Yeah. And I couldn't think of anything. All I was gonna do was play with the dog anyway. If the dog did something stupid, I was gonna blame somebody else or blame something else for the dog doing it. But that dog started to tear me apart. My grandfather saved my life for that. And wow. I ended up going to the hospital afterwards. So
yeah, I don't listen to your grandpa.
I should have. Rest in peace to him. He was a great man.
Yeah,
but he was a great man. He saved my life. And then that's basically the last thing I remember about time. I was actually about 3 or 4 years old. That's the last time. That's the last thing I remember about early childhood until I started playing sports and everything like that. So
yeah. So let me ask you this: like, obviously, you lost your father again. You said around 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Being that definitely must have been very devastating. So your grandpa kind of stepped into that father role. Nevertheless, like, besides that, like, did that also create any kind of impact in your childhood or as you were growing up? Knowing that you lost your dad and also for the reasons that you lost him, like, what did that do to you as growing up?
Oh, I decided to get into become a game member at the time.
Okay.
because I wanted revenge for him killing my father.
Got it.
I decided to join a gang at the time and everything. I did play sports every now and then, but I played 2 years of football, 2 years of football. But that was the reason why I stopped playing football. Because and literally, I played when I played little sports, I was basketball, football, baseball, and everything like that, and everything. But I stopped playing because I got in the game violence. So
Got it.
because I wanted to get revenge. My father was in my life during the time I was playing little league sports. So I wanted to get revenge on him. So I tried to learn as much as I could about fighting and war tactics and everything like that. So yes, I got it. That's what happened. I got into it because I lost my father and I
Yeah.
got a man who stole his identity. So
Yeah.
um, but in the meantime, when my grandfather took a role for a while, they passed away. So once he
Yeah.
passed away, then at that point I was raised by my mother. And that was basically raised by my mother, and then what they call old gangsters or OGs,
Hmm.
as men, because they were like father figures in my life after that point. So from then on until I became a man. So
Yeah.
but I got out of that. I got out of gang violence at the age of 15. I think 15 was the last year. Between 15 and 16 years old. Because once I turned 16, I was done with it completely. So
Yeah. What was the reason? Like, what made you, kind of say, what, this is not for me anymore? Because obviously, there's, a lot of people. I had other people on the as guests on the show before, and well, a lot of people. One of the reasons they join gangs or those groups not only is for everything else, except for like they feel that they needed that community. They feel like they needed someone to really care for them because maybe their parents worked too hard or whatever the case may be, and so they had this sense of abandonment when really they were not being abandoned, except they felt like that was that case, right? I'm not saying that was for you, except what was the reason that you say, what, this is not for me anymore, I'm done with this? Was it the influence? Was it the fact that you realized that after going through everything, it wasn't worth your life? I mean, what was the reason behind that?
The real reason behind getting calling it quits with it was
Yep.
because at a certain point in time, I didn't like committing violence against people for no reason.
Mm.
I guess some people would consider me emotional. My best friend, he probably would consider me a bit emotional, a bit sentimental, whatever you want to call it, because I don't even though I could hurt anybody of any kind. I said at some point in time I stopped feeling bad for people. Even when I went to a school in a city called Clinton Township, Michigan, where I went to a school full of for black kids, black kids living relative suburbia. So, and that's at that point. Well, at first, not at first, but at a certain while, I started trying to help them. So,
Yeah.
so I said instead of talking about my background and everything that I've done, I said I just at this point I said I just let them be cool, and I try to be the biggest nerd geek or whatever you want to call it, at that place, because I could have easily just been the coolest kid there and
Hmm.
through because the way my middle name is, I could have just threw that out there all the time. I could have stole that girl. I could have had all the girls and beat up all the boys, but I said I'm not gonna do that. I said at that point I let them have all that, and I just go out and just be done. But I ended up leaving and going back. So I ended up leaving that school 2006. I graduated high school in 2008. So
Got it.
um
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. No.
but the reason for leaving because I got too emotional. It got too much from me. That's like I don't really like hurting people like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and obviously you're probably realized too, like, this is not for me, right? Like you said, I don't want to, just for no reason, I don't want to emotionally hurt people.
well, I was emotional. I was too emotional, but I didn't just emotionally hurt people. I physically hurt people too. So,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
so, so yeah, that was the reason. But that's the reason why I gave up on it. Just
yeah,
because of that, because I didn't want to. That's the reason why because I didn't want to just keep hurting people. At this
yeah,
certain point in time, you can't hurt people for the rest of your life. You have to eventually start doing things.
yeah,
But so while I quit, gave up on it. While I was walking away from it slowly, I started picking up playing sports again. Even though I played sports maybe in middle school, but that's because my I guess my mother really made me do those. But in high school, I picked up football again. So at that point because that's that one that's still so that's when I started playing football again. But yeah, I was just too emotional. I didn't like hurting people like that, but because I was still because I'm still a naturally aggressive man. My grandfather is way more aggressive than I ever would be,
yeah,
uh, but uh, but yeah, I'm a naturally aggressive man, so I guess I get it from him. But either
Got it.
way, go. Uh, so I said, oh, go ahead. Sorry. But I said
No,
I just played football for a while and just deal with it. So yeah, so I stuck with it. But
yeah,
um,
no, that's good. And so obviously you decided to do that, and one of the biggest challenges you had to this day, or one of the things that you mentioned that it was really hard for you was really overcoming the fact or the lack of people believing and supporting you to get to where you are now, right? So tell me about that. Like, what were some of the challenges you went through with that?
yes, for some reason, people like to think that people like I don't know. This is I guess is unprofessionally judged. People
Yeah.
like to undermine who I am, who I am, and everything like that because I always had a very since high self-esteem. My father gave that to me ever since I was a little boy. Like he used to ask me when I was a little boy. He used to ask me he used to ask me a question: "Who's the best in the world?" And I interpreted when I was a little boy as my father sounded the best in the world. So ever since then, I always believed I was so.
Yeah.
So
Good.
anyway, like that. It was just a question, but I guess I guess that question was helpful. And another person who helped me too was my third grade teacher. Her name is Dr. Brown. So she has the
Hmm.
actual doctorate degree. She
Yeah.
helped me too because she helped me with my self esteem. She helped me with my confidence. So because at one point in time I was an insecure boy, so she helped me with my confidence. She had me buried the word can't, and ever since then ever since then I believe in myself wholeheartedly. But for some reason, people around my age group people in my age group have a hard time looking at me, believing that I'm capable of basically being where I am today and where I can
Hmm.
go. So it really wasn't older people per se because they always said it was people more my age. For some reason, I
Hmm.
said I didn't understand it, and some I still don't. But either way it go, I try my best to but
You know,
it's
like,
not obviously not everybody. It's maybe a
yeah.
lot of people, but it's not everybody. So,
Yeah,
uh,
but even though, I mean, and when we talk about that, and I think that's a very important topic because a lot of people want to venture into doing something. It doesn't really matter what it is, whether say they want to do their own business and become an entrepreneur. A lot of times, the biggest challenge that people are going to have is that again the lack of support in or the lack of belief from somebody else or just really people putting you down without realizing that at the end of the day, well, I now recognize this. I didn't probably back then. Is that it doesn't really matter what people think or say, except we in this society right now with social media, with everything going on, we always tend to care so much about what other people are going to say or do that we sometimes hold back from our true potential, right? And so that can also create a lot of different things in our lives, not only in the sense of, I'm not going to move forward, or I'm not going to take this leap of faith, or I'm not going to take this risk. It also can mess up in people's minds. Some people, do get very emotionally
yeah,
hurt through that. And now
yeah,
you got to
exactly.
deal with that self-healing and self-confidence.
Yeah, for me, even though I had a great amount of self confidence and I still fight through it every day, it still hurts emotionally. It still does.
Right.
Because it's sometimes like, why can't I just have a lot more people support me in my endeavors, even with me accomplishing the things that I've accomplished? Why do I have to go through? Sometimes I ask myself that in private. Why do I have to go through people consistently criticizing me on a consistent basis, even though I've done so well in my life and
Yeah.
practically almost everything I tried? So I said, but so yeah, so that, but overall, I try to keep fighting anyway. I pick myself up emotionally and just keep going and going because I said I'm not gonna stop because I said I'm not gonna stop. If I quit, then I feel like if I quit, then the people who thought I was who want I guess you want to say want to fail or whatever case I feel like they will win. I'm not gonna try.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Right.
not
You don't want them to
I don't
to
want to feel like they. I want to feel like they won. I want to feel like they lost completely. So,
yeah.
um,
Yeah, for sure. So, at which point did you decided that you wanted to, as you have multiple businesses? At which point did you decided to venture into that? How did that come about? Because I know that a lot of people. I mean, I know right now through the pandemic, a lot of people have been able to done things that they didn't do in the past, or they thought they couldn't do because they were working their 9 to 5 and they were comfortable, secure. Except I do believe that if if anything positive came out of the pandemic was that a lot of people had the ability to wake up and say, you know what, I can actually make something and I don't have to really rely on my 9 to 5. Except again, I don't know, for you might have been different when you started. What was that motivation that you said, you know what, I want to venture into my own stuff and do my own businesses and get into that versus working for somebody else?
Oh, because I was going to college at the time, and I was doing everything I could to I was going to college at the time. I was doing everything I could to try to make another name for myself, but try to have a great career path. So I decided I was going to go in the medical field because when I was a little boy, I said I wanted to make a lot of money and help people in the process of doing that. So I didn't know how I was going to do it or way I was going to do it. So I
Mm-hmm.
said, well, when some medical professor showed up at the school one day, I decided that I said I'll try going to the medical field.
Yeah.
So and so ever since then, yeah, so I got a degree in it and everything. I got a degree in healthcare administration, after that point in time from University of Phoenix, but after that point in time, I was like, I was working because I was to finish playing college football I got to play college football for 2 years, but after
Mm-hmm.
finish playing college football, I fully focused on my studies and everything like that. So I decided to keep the part time job at McDonald's while I was doing that. In the meantime, I decided that because it's important to that because while I was working at McDonald's and everything like that, a college teammate reached out to me talking about starting my own business. I said, so at that point in time, I'm like, I don't know, should I start my business? Should I do this? Should I do? I said, I don't know, I don't see it, I said after applying and everything like that. The only thing I did was what they I said when they kept telling me I had great talent but no experience and no one hired me. I said I don't want to be stuck at McDonald's for the rest of my life, especially when I saw a kid from I went to high school with and the way he looked at me, I was like, I definitely want to do that. So I'm like, to stay at McDonald's for the rest of my life. So I was like, in fact, I said, at this point, after thinking about it and everything, trying, that's how I started my first company was Big Block Athletics and everything since then took off.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's huge. You said something that I think is important, and I want to know why. What's the reason you want to? You said you want to make a lot of money, and then on the way you want to help a lot of people. Why?
Yes.
Why? What's the reason behind that? And because obviously, there's an element to that, I think, and I want to know what will be that element for you to say, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna make a lot of money and also help people through the process.
It's because I grew up very impoverished.
Okay.
Within the impoverished inner city, I was impoverished there too. So
Yep.
it was one of those things where I was like, where I felt like if I could really make a difference in society, then people can look at me and say, well, personally, I gotta feel like I can feel like even if I never get full validation for
Yeah.
like within my peers, I can at least feel like for myself that I've done something that man
Mm,
people doubted me that I wasn't gonna amount to anything, and so because of where I grew up and everything like that too, and so at that point I looked at it and say, well, that's why I wanted to do help a lot of people, but because I grew up so impoverished, I wanted to really change that. I want to change that situation too, and so
yeah,
that was the biggest thing that happened to me. I wanted to change that, and so
that's
um,
huge. Yeah, that's huge.
say that
Um,
for because I wanted to benefit. I wanted to change that for so many reasons, but yes,
yeah, got it.
that was motivator.
Yeah, no, definitely. So tell me about I love the message you're sharing here. You only need desire and a willingness to achieve success in order to obtain it. Everything else will come. Uh, Tell me about that because I obviously that I think that's a strong statement. And a lot of times, we forget about the desire and we just want to go out and chase the shiny object, and or some people might have a desire, but they feel like, well, I don't have the means, or I don't know how to get it, and so then they stop and they don't move forward, right? So tell me about that message.
Yes, so that message behind is like because I had a desire to be successful, and so I feel like as long as I believe in myself and don't try to seek validation from people to validate who I am or what I'm able to do, I feel like that in and of itself is powerful enough to overcome basically anything in life.
Mhm.
Because I had to face a lot of adversity. I faced a lot of adversity. Obviously in sports, I had to face a lot of adversity in game violence. I had to face a lot of adversity. Even when I went to what I thought was the nicest area I've ever seen until I got in the position I am, and I seen a way more nice areas. And then at that point, um, even overcoming the different backgrounds, people assuming things about who I am as a person. And even now today, I'm happy some people assume good things about me, even though they may not be true. But I don't try to correct people when they do that. At this point, I just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, no, it's a good thing. Some of these people assume about me is good. Some people think some people thought I always grew up in a white area, so I'm like, because of how I conduct myself and everything. I said, hey, that's hey. At that point, that's great. I'm glad you think that, but I'm not, even though it's not true, but I got you think that. So I'm not correcting people with that. But anyway, now if you ask me where I'm from, I tell them. But other than that, if they don't believe it, I'll leave. I'll let them be. But other than that, but yeah, desire. So knowing what you want out of life and just keep going for it. Because eventually there's only two things that happen. Either A, you either get in, you get in this phase, or B, even if you don't get it, you can at least say you tried. Hey, it's like that old adage saying, it's better to have love and lost than to never loved at all. Right? I feel like that's a good lesson for life, not just romance. So
true. No. It's like you said, you go after your desires, you either get it or you don't get it. Except you try. That's the biggest thing. And
at the least you can say you try. At the least you can say you try. If you didn't get it, hey, you try. Hey, nobody can knock you for not trying. But if you get it, hey, celebrate for a while and then just keep riding that gravy train.
It reminds me of I was listening to Les Brown and he talks about imagine you're in your deathbed and surrounding you in your deathbed are all the ghosts and the ideas of the things that you could have done during your lifetime, except now you're in your deathbed and they're telling you you didn't bring me out, you didn't do anything with all of this, and now I have to go with you without having that potential. So it goes back to that. Like a lot of people, like you might have a book in you, you might have whatever in you, except because you decided not to do it or you have fear of this or that, and you just didn't take that leap or that try or the attempt. And now when you're in your deathbed, that's going to be too late. Like there's nothing you can do at this point. Everything goes with you, right? And it's funny because he also talked about and I think it's great. He was like, the richest place in the world is not in where they have all this gold and this oil or any of that stuff anywhere in the world. The richest place in this world is at the cemetery, because that's where you had buried a lot of the ideas and things that people could have brought to life, and they decided not to because of the fear of something, right? And so I definitely believe that having that desire, that wanting, that idea of creating something, you can definitely make it happen for sure.
Yes, that's 100% true. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Yes, going with that, you had to keep trying. You had to try something. Go after what you want out of life. If you don't get it, hey, at least you gave it a shot, right? Hey, no one can really knock you for at least trying. But if you get it, hey, make it last. Make it last as long as you possibly can. If it doesn't last as long as you want it to last, then hey, but at least you got it, right? So
definitely. Yeah, for
sure.
And
that's why I said I like what you talked about, and that's why I said that's the best model I could always give to, especially for those coming up, is that go after what you want in life. Who knows what you will become in life?
True. Yeah, no, that's huge. That's huge. Tell me a little bit about your business. What is it that you're focused on in your businesses, and what do you do?
So, all right. So, like you said, like you introduced me, I'm on my business. So, starting out with Big Block Athletics, we're a company that produces active people like to be active responsible athletes. Mark Blocker Foundation, set up kids in Detroit, Michigan, become productive adults. Also have Mark Blocker University, which is a 4-year university under Mark Blocker Foundation. I'm also giving scholarships to students through
nice
a school called DSDT. So giving scholarships to that also. And I also at one point in time I was promoting mental health awareness, but I think so we have World Mental Health Day and pretty much done with that. So I'm pretty much focusing on my philanthropy instead of promoting mental health at this point.
Gotcha.
Mark Blocker Success Coach Enterprise, I'm founder and CEO of that, where we help entrepreneurs scale their business and mentor them in their personal development. And I have my own clientele too, but also my other business people have theirs, and everything like that. So my employees have theirs as well within my enterprises, and then so also angel investor. Hey, I've different portfolio angel investor, our crowd, AngelList, Start Engine, you name it. I've
Do it.
invested in a lot of different companies. A
Good.
lot of different companies. It's hard to name all. I invested in a bank, entertainment company, different healthcare companies.
Yeah.
List goes on. So
Oh, that's huge. So tell me, Mark, if people wanted to connect with you, contact you, where can they find you?
they can find me on Instagram at Mark_Blocker23. That's mainly where I'm really located. Everything else
Good.
is a business thing. Um, also, if the people want to carry my business, they can find me on LinkedIn. And also, you can always email me at bigblockathletics@hotmail.com. You can always contact me at 586-888-3134. So that's the contact information for myself.
Awesome. And then tell me, do you have any daily habits, anything that you do on a day-to-day basis to kind of keep you on a positive state of mind or keep you going?
Yes. Oh, yes, it is. I have coaches and mentors that help me. I have teachers that help me do audio programs. I have I try to listen to affirmations. I try. There's all kinds of things. I have a morning routine that I do. I use music as a way of not just obviously not just as an angel investor, but also just the way as the way to not just also as an angel, that's just my line of work, but also as a way to unwind and just enjoy life. I try to work out and everything like that. I hit the gym because I still like health and fitness and everything like that. And the list goes on. I try to have hobbies, and currently I'm in the dating world, so I'm dating. I got women that I'm dating at the moment too. They have others keep me busy as well. And of
Hmm.
course, I got my two sons. One is Mar Blocker Jr. and the other one's name is Jamia Blocker. So,
Yeah.
they're young kids. My oldest son, he's a bit of a stubborn head, but that's all right.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
He's a good boy, so I love him. But anyway, other than that,
You
but other than
definitely stay
that, yeah.
busy.
So I'm pretty busy personally too. But as far as routine goes, yes, I try to stick to a routine every day.
Yeah, got it. No, that's good. That's good. Well, let me ask you this, Mark. I have one last question for you, and for the people that are watching us and might be asking themselves, like, I'm going through some challenge, whatever challenge that might be, and they want to know, like, what is one thing I can do now to start overcoming that challenge? What would you say?
Have extreme dedication. Be dedicated to achieving whatever you want out of life.
Mm,
If it's whether it's relationship, whether it's romance, whether it's career, whether it's it doesn't matter. Just have extreme dedication. Dedication gets you far in life.
got you. Well, how would you define dedication? In terms of
Some people
actions
will
of.
call it persistence. Some people will call it
Mhm.
like being persistent. It's like some people will call it like the little train that could. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. That mindset of I'm gonna keep going after it until I get it, or until I burn out, or whatever the case may be. Or hopefully you don't
Yeah,
burn out, but I would say keep it with that mindset. Just keep going to either get it to you burn out, whatever comes first.
yeah. Got it. Got it. No, that's huge. That's huge. And I definitely agree with that. And not only building, as you're talking about, like, we're done earlier about creating some habits and all of that. I think that dedication, however you define that, definitely you have to create something, right? You want to be able to keep moving forward and having that persistence to do that. So, Mark, definitely really enjoy having you on the show. Anything else you want to share?
Um, yeah, I'm extremely happy to be on the show. Thank you to everyone who tuned in, wherever you're located. It's always an honor and a privilege to share my experiences with everybody, especially those who are younger than I am. And so I always want to say I love my boys, Junior and Jamia. So they're definitely the greatest part of my life and everything
Nice.
like that. And obviously their mothers and everything like that. And obviously so I'm always happy to be able to share my experiences with them and to be able to be their father and everything like that. So
Yeah.
and it's everybody else out there too. Hey, whatever you want to accomplish in life, just go for it. Who knows what will happen? Who knows where you end up in the future? I did. I had big dreams. I've achieved them, and so my best thing at this point is to um just to keep them alive. That's my goal now. But if you haven't achieved your dream yet, keep going for it. Who knows what will happen? You don't know what will happen in life, but keep going. Yeah. Hey, at the very least, you might discover something else. So.
Yep, I love that. That's definitely a good advice. So thank you for that, Mark. And again, guys, make sure that you tune in and share this message, because definitely somebody needs to hear this message. And I'll see you guys at the next episode of You Can Overcome Anything podcast show. Thank you.
Hi, I'm CesarRespino, real estate investor, business coach, and consultant, and author of the book, You Can Overcome Anything, Even When the World Says No. My number is 424-501-6046. In my book, I talk about making the necessary changes to shift your mind for prosperity and certainty. Pick up your copy at Amazon. I also love helping families with their real estate and can purchase your house fast and all cash. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. My number is 424-501-6046.
Thank you for having me today. I am so glad you've tuned into this podcast. You can find me at your favorite podcast platform where you can like, subscribe, comment, and share. And to learn more about myself, my services, you can find me at www.CesarRespino.com, or you can also find me at your social media. Thanks for joining me, and I am looking forward to having you at the next episode. And know you truly can overcome anything.